was coming over here, I had a certain amount of anxiety thinking, how am I going to teach these very complicated songs to these guys in the short amount of time that we have to make this record? The first guy I met was Francesco along with Davide. And they arrived at the airport. I'd been up all night on this plane.
7 o'clock.
It was 7 a.m. and it was a very cold morning. And, we went to the cafeteria to have a tea. And they said, listen to these. We've done a couple of scratch tracks. One of them was in the cantina. And I heard magic. It was like, wow, this is incredible. You really reimagined this song. And that's a wonderful thing, is for me to hear these songs recontextualized in a fresh way. We could have chased each other's tails trying to recreate slavishly, note for note, what exists of the original recordings of these songs. But really, there's no point in doing that, especially when you're with people who have an energy and a vision to dare to do something different, which they did. So I think Francesco has been invaluable as far as really having a very strong sense of what could be done with the material in a way that I just feel it's great that I have his help.
To me, he's enormous. I really love the feeling I had immediately with Gary. What an amazing song, amazing artist, and one of the best musician I ever worked with. Really, it's a real pleasure for me to do this stuff with you and with Davide too. And I'm lucky to do this with you. Really, I'm really lucky.
The whole project, I feel very, very, very grateful and lucky and humble about all the wonderful people who assembled around.
And it's also, we are lucky what's happening. 3 days, 12 songs. Unbelievable.
Yes. I mean, I had not really had a chance to recover. And already we were in the studio, his home studio.
Yeah.
And I was banging out these songs which I hadn't played. I mean, I'd done some rehearsing in New York, but it was the first time to properly record them. And he was incredibly fast to get up sounds that I could work with that sounded really good. And boom, we did 4 songs the first day, boom, 4 songs the second day, and then the last 4 the third day.
Magician, yeah.
And as I mentioned, they're not easy. They're very complicated structurally, many. But, we were able to accomplish this, and it's been an incredible experience for me. It's been a whirlwind of activity, to just focus and do it and then talk about it for the benefit of cameras. And it's just something else. It's a new experience for me to work. I've made records in the past that were done very quickly, and often you don't really get a chance to appreciate them in the moment. But I can say just now, hearing in the cantina, I think it was a really, transcendental moment.
Yeah.
We all felt a spirit move in the room, hopefully spirit of Jeff Buckley inhabiting, the soul of the song.
Gary, did you ask something in particular to Francesco to preserve or to change the unpublished?
Well, I just said, listen, I'm looking for your guidance here because I don't want to do them exactly the same. What's the point? It's not like they were ever really set in stone either. What remains were live tapes, basically, and demos done also live in my apartment in New York to make the basis of these songs, as they were never really done in a studio. Anything really could go here. So he came up with some ideas on the spot, and often I just said, great, go. Once in a while I'd say, I don't know, I don't really like hear that, let's go. So there was a give and take, you know. But generally speaking, I like to relax with partners and collaborators and let them do their thing. You know, if I get too picky, I think it interrupts the creative process. And it's not in my nature to be a dictator in music. I think it's all fine when you have a controlling figure, but the last person I allowed to do that with was Don Van Vliet, Captain Beefheart. And at that point I was still in my 20s. So I was willing to subordinate myself to his vision. And, you know, it was fun, but it was also really challenging and sometimes unpleasant because he tended to make big changes in the last minute before recording. So everybody felt a little thrown off balance. Here it's been a more organic process. So we had some moments where it was needed like a clarification, and bringing in Phil, for instance, he was just feeling his way through the parts, but that's great because it gave a fresh energy to them. So at the end of the day, I'd say everything worked out just fine.
Okay. Gianni, c'è qualche altra cosa che vogliamo chiedere? Anything else you want to say
Yeah.
about the project? Or about
No.
a specific song or...
He tells everything.
Okay.
Okay, all right, thank you.
So,
Thank
Okay,
you.
well, yeah.
perfect.
Fantastic. You want to...
Thank you
Okay.
again.
Grazie.
Thank you.
Poi dobbiamo fare la stessa cosa con voi, però
Domani io give me a-
dovrei comprarlo.
Dai, del violoncellista, leva.
Go now. Go now. Domani allora